global climate change, and the greenhouse effect. By the end of this section, you should be able to distinguish among global change, global climate change, and global warming, because those are three distinct terms, and explain the process underlying the greenhouse effect and identify the natural and anthropogenic sources of greenhouse gases. That means human sources. Wah, wah, wah. So, global change includes global climate change and global warming. Throughout this section, we're going to highlight a wide variety of ways in which the world has changed its rapidly growing human population and how that has changed our climate. Human activity has placed increasing demands on natural resources like water, trees, minerals, and fossil fuels. And we have also emitted growing amounts of carbon dioxide, nitrogen compounds, and sulfur compounds into the atmosphere. Our agricultural methods depend on chemicals, and that includes things like fertilizers and pesticides. Finally, this growing population faces challenges of waste disposal, sanitation, and the spread of human disease. Change that occurs in the chemical, biological, and physical properties of the planet is referred to as global change. Some types of global change are natural, as occurring like millions of years ago. Like global temperatures, for example, they fluctuated over millions of years. And during the periods of cold temperatures, Earth has experienced ice ages. And in modern times, however, these rates of change have often been much higher than those that have occurred historically. Many of these changes are a result of human activity, and they also have significant cascading effects. And what I mean by that is the emissions from like coal-fired power plants and waste incinerators. They've increased the amount of mercury into the air and water, and with concentrations roughly triple of those pre-industrial, we've seen how one thing has had this cascading effect on a lot of others. This mercury, it bioaccumulates in fish that are caught thousands of kilometers away from where the actual pollution source was. And because mercury has harmful effects on the nervous system of women who they might become pregnant, and children are advised to avoid eating these top predator fish like swordfish and tuna. It can be accumulated in women who eat fish and then passed into their children. So far-reaching effects of a scale are unimaginable just 50 years ago. One type of global change of a particular concern to scientists is what we call global climate change. And that refers to the changes in the average weather conditions that occur in an area over a period of years or decades. These changes, they can be categorized as either a natural or anthropogenic. You might recall from an earlier section where we talked about the El Nino events, and every year they occur 3 to 7 years. They alter global patterns of temperature and precipitation. Anthropogenic activities like fossil fuel combustion and deforestation also have major effects on global climates. Global warming refers to a specific aspect of climate change, and that's the warming of the oceans, land masses, and the atmospheres of Earth. So, one factor has a cascading effect on another, like the mercury example. But in addition to that, global change, global climate change, and global warming all have an effect on one another. Rising sea levels increase storm intensity, and they also can warm the planet differently. And so each of these things has their own variety of factors that change over time. And global climate change refers to those factors, and we're talking like on an average scale. The physical and biogeochemical systems that regulate temperature at the surface of Earth, the concentrations of gases, distribution of clouds, atmospheric currents, and ocean currents, they're all essential to life on our planet. And therefore, it's critical that we understand how the planet is warmed by the sun and how the greenhouse effect contributes to that warming of Earth.